Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something truly chilling. We're exploring a blueprint for a prison built on a cosmic scale. It's a system of absolute, terrifying geometry, designed not just to trap you, but to literally digest your soul. And this line from the Baron of Twilight really sets the stage for us. See, this isn't just some place you can visit. It's a closed loop, a perfect and horrifying piece of architecture, where the end is literally woven right back into the beginning. So, to really understand this silent city, we have to start with the one who built it, and the incredible mechanism he created to fill it. Meet the architect of this whole nightmare, Sackless. Now, he's called the Fool, but it's not because he's stupid. Far from it. It's because he represents absolute perfection in his process, but he is completely, utterly blind to the meaning behind the consciousness he's so good at taking apart. And his masterpiece? The Twilight Web. Look, this is not some crude cage with iron bars, no. This is a work of art, a masterpiece of inversion. It literally shimmers with the promise of some great truth, vibrating like a revelation. And that's how it lures you in. It's all attraction, not force. To really wrap our heads around how this works, a simple analogy of a factory really explains the cold, efficient function of this thing perfectly. Okay, so imagine this. To this automated system, a unique, beautiful gemstone isn't a treasure. It's a system error. It doesn't fit. So what does the factory do? It doesn't throw it away. Oh no. It grinds that gemstone down into a featureless gray powder. Then, it mixes that powder into cement to create a perfectly standardized brick. And that brick? It's used to build more of the prison wall. The system error literally becomes a part of the code. So, if the machine processes gemstones into bricks, then who are the gemstones? I mean, who in their right mind willingly steps into a web that's designed to consume them? Well, it turns out the system is looking for a very specific kind of person. And here's the twist. The system doesn't target the weak or the lazy. Not at all. It goes after the striver. These are the ambitious ones, the brilliant souls who are trying to overcome their own limitations, burdened by this deep need to find meaning. And the system uses that very desire for growth as the bait. This is the central deception, the cruel joke at the heart of it all. Every single struggle the striver makes to become something more, every push for growth, well, that's just a vibration in the web. Their very effort to be unique is the signal that tells the system exactly where they are. I mean, just look at this profound disconnect. On one side, you have what the striver thinks is happening. They're on this grand spiritual journey, seeking evolution, finding revelation. But on the other side, you have the cold, mechanical reality. They're not evolving. They're confessing. They're not finding revelation. They're triggering a system error. And they're not achieving redemption. They're just beginning the process of being consumed. Right. So once the striver is detected, once that vibration hits the center of the web, the O-grade tarantula doesn't just pounce. It begins a chillingly methodical three-step process designed to completely unmake them. And these aren't just chaotic attacks. They are precise, engineered stages. First, the whispering seraph comes and turns all your brilliant thoughts into meaningless static. Then, the pale redeemer arrives to stain your very soul, marking it for what's called a catastrophic decompression. And finally, the all-consuming maw simply draws you in to be processed. It's the complete, systematic dismantling of a person. But why? Why does any of this happen? What could possibly be the ultimate goal of such an elaborate, horrifying machine? Well, the prime directive goes way beyond ideas of good and evil. It's all about fuel and function. It's the gospel of the belly. The system could not care less what you believe, only that your beliefs, your values, your very being can be converted into energy. And what is that energy? It's called Ludge. This is the spiritual fuel the system craves. It takes the entire rich tapestry of a life, all the stories, the memories, the love, the individuality, and it grinds it all down into a uniform ash. And from that ash, it extracts Ludge to power its own monstrous growth. And here's the final, brutal insult. The victim isn't just destroyed. Oh no, that would be too simple. They're recycled. They become a functional part of the very prison they were trying to escape. They're remade as a mindless duplicate, a listening brick in the wall, whose only job now is to listen for the next vibration, the next striver, the next meal. And when this process is repeated over and over across all of existence, it leads to a final, absolutely chilling conclusion. This is what's called the new nihilism. See, the system's greatest victory isn't just eating you, it's convincing you to want to be eaten. It creates a reality where the sheer weight of being an individual, of having a unique identity, is so unbearable that people literally beg for their own erasure. They ask for chains and call it clarity. And that's the endgame. The universe is no longer a messy, vibrant garden full of different forms of life. Instead, it's a single, silent, blank stone monolith, the silent city, a place defined by total conformity and the complete absence of the individual I. And this right here, this is the tarantula's verdict, laid bare. In a universe that's defined only by the stomach, consumption isn't a moral failing. It's just a mechanical correction. Being unique is an error. Being erased is simply being brought back into alignment. And this leaves us with a final, really unsettling question at the heart of this dark architecture. When the sheer weight of being an individual becomes too much to bear, is erasure the ultimate form of clarity? In a system that only understands function, what is the final fate of value?